Hey guys, so I want to jump on here before I go and get into my evening, and I'm sure everybody probably has some whatever they want to do to bring in the new year. And I just want to make this last video before we go into 2016. And what I'm hoping is that 2016 will actually be the year of not falling for the okie doke that we somehow in the Black community keep falling for. There's a number of different manipulations that white people put out as propaganda, and not only do other white people eat it up, but a lot of Black people eat it up as well. And so what I'm hoping to do with this video, and I'm going to do a lot of it in next year with future videos, is just kind of peel back the layers of the okie doke that we're all falling for, so that hopefully we won't be doing it anymore. And the number one that annoys me the most is this whole black on black crime argument. So I'll probably end up doing a number of different videos because I have a number of different perspectives on this, but I'm going to try to keep this short for the sake of the fact that I just don't have time. I have somewhere to be. So that being said, what I first want to say is that I know with all of these non-indictments of these killer cops coming out, a lot of these non-indictments are going to be justified by, number one, destroying and defiling the character of these innocent victims who were clearly murdered. I mean, Tamir Rice, he's a 12-year-old child, clearly looks like a child, playing with a toy gun in an open carry state where you can actually walk around in public with a real gun, but it's being justified with these cops killing an innocent boy within 2 seconds of arriving on the scene. So they're at this point, they're not even concerned about an investigation. They didn't even stop to ask questions to see if that was a real gun. And again, he wasn't really breaking any law. They shot him on the spot. But that's because it goes back to what I said before. You have to understand who you're dealing with. If a group of people want to get enjoyment out of killing black men specifically, they're not going to stop doing it just because some laws change, especially when they're the ones that are making the laws. They're obviously going to modify those laws to their benefit. So if they feel like they want to modify the laws and say that that wasn't murder, then they'll do that because you're dealing with the same psychopathic mentality that you were back during slavery and Jim Crow. We're just in the remix of it. But I digress. So I've seen a lot of videos, and I actually sat back and analyzed some of these with Fox News. Now, we all know Fox News are the main ones that want to push this black on black crime thing, but I also noticed a lot of black people on Facebook doing that too. And so hopefully after this video, the majority of them will stop doing it, because it's like you just look brainwashed and retarded as far as I'm concerned. That's how you look. But I do understand that, they did put a lot of time and energy into brainwashing us so that we will we will become desensitized to our own extermination, and so we will justify our own murders, even though it's ridiculous, because a lot of black people will also say, oh, black on black crime, black on black crime, why do we want to complain when white cops kill black people, but black people are going out killing and doing all these things? So number one, I'm going to say this, because even when I put the FBI statistics out, then there's this argument, oh, white people are a larger majority, black people are a smaller majority, so of course white people would commit more crimes. No, absolutely not. Number one, just because you're a larger population of white people does not mean you need to go out and commit a lot of crimes. White people have put this myth out that they are the paradigm of morality, that everyone should model their behavior after white people, that black people are just naturally violent, they're uncivilized. That was their whole, a lot of people who justify slavery, they say, oh, well, Africans are naturally uncivilized, so we need to civilize them. So even with that statement, you're putting yourself above someone. So if you guys are a group of civilized human beings, you don't seek oppression, you haven't had a system set up against you to stop you from achieving economic advancement, but yet you're out there committing most of the crimes, that's not a justification. I don't care if this entire America was populated with white people and there are only 2 black people. Just because you are a large number of people, white people, does not mean that you should go out and commit more crimes. You are committing more crimes in numbers, and that's really all I care about. I don't care about anyone giving me a percentage of a small population of people compared to the percentage of crime represented by a much larger group of people. The percentage is never going to work out. It's never going to be equal unless you have the exact same population sizes. So that's number one. Stop justifying the fact that you guys, as a group of people, commit more crimes than any other race of people in America by saying that they're a larger population. So what? I don't care. So that means that you guys actually should be doing more for the betterment of the community rather than going out there living up to a psychopathic nature and committing more crimes. So that's number one. Number two, it's really convenient that I notice that right-wing media, meaning Republicans, are so concerned with black on black crime, and yet they don't ever mention it unless you're complaining about a white cop killing a black person. So how do you in one breath have this group of people justifying the killing of unarmed black men, women, and children, but then when it comes to you trying to hold a white cop responsible for it, then they want to say, oh, but what about black on black crime? Then they want to say about, oh, it kind of seems like it's selective outrage because black people only complain when the killing is done by another white person. Okay, and you guys only complain when the killings are being done by another black person. So it's the exact same thing. We already know in the black community there's a lot of self-hate. If you do not love yourself, you're not going to have any problem going out and hurting, harming, or killing someone that looks just like you. So the truth of the matter is, if they really cared about the lives of black people, number one, you wouldn't be justifying the people who killed them for no reason. You wouldn't be doing that. Because if the lives really matter enough for you to compare about black on black crime, then you should care about all crime committed against black people, but they don't, because you will never see them on any other time talking about black on black crime unless it's a group of black people protesting the murder of a black person by a white cop. And that is the only time they do it. Because if they really cared, do you think George Zimmerman, Darren Wilson, Daniel Pantaleo, the cop in Texas who threw the black girl across the classroom, the cop that killed Laquan McDonald, the cop that killed Walter Scott, do you really think that we would be having an issue getting these guys indicted if they really cared about black lives? So they really don't care about black people killing each other. This is just an okie doke that they sit there and tell you, because they already know why there's a high crime rate among the black communities. They already know that. They know that because they designed the system to perpetuate that. So they're not clueless to that. They know what they've done. If they really cared at all about black on black crime, then what they would do is they would get with the black leaders, they would go into the black communities, and they would sit down and they would find programs and ways to actually build up the economy in these black areas. They will put better education in there. They wouldn't be funneling all the money into the white neighborhoods. They wouldn't be doing any of that. They would be giving jobs to these black kids. They would be giving, they would just be providing a better quality of life. They don't really care about that. They're using this as a means to further brainwash you and not only desensitize everyone else, but to desensitize you to your own genocide, so that they can push this, you're inferior and this is why you're being killed. They don't want you to connect these murders to their psychopathology. They want you to connect it to yourself. Because if you feel like that you're doing something, then you can just change that. But it is harder to actually change the actions of another person. So what they wanted you to do is they want you to direct it internally as you're the problem, not them. Because if they're not the problem, then you're not going to do anything to fight them. So this is another way for your oppressor to sit here and get you to co-sign your own death. Don't fall for the okie doke of black on black crime. That is what I'm saying. Because here's my thing. about black on black crime. Yes, there is a problem with crime in the black community. There is a problem with crime in the black community. But there's more of one in the white community, large population or not. The bottom line is, as a government, you would want to be smart and prioritize. When you look at problems and solutions, you would want to address the biggest problem first. And so if it's more of an immediate problem for crime, wouldn't you look to the people who are committing most of the crimes? Because if you go onto the FBI website, then you would actually see that white people are committing more crimes. So they know white people are committing more crimes too. They're pushing this black on black crime thing because they need to divert attention. And I'm getting so tired of black people buying into this. The reason why their propaganda is so effective is because they know you're not going to go out here and think for yourself. And it's because they brainwashed you to not think for yourself. So that's why it's so easy for black people to say, oh, well, we need to be outraged by the crime in the black community. Really? Okay, well, the same people who created the circumstances for crime are the same ones who are sitting there complaining about it. The same group of people who will justify the death of a 12-year-old child and unarmed black man are the same ones that will go holler out, what about black on black crime? So they don't really care. That's what you don't understand. The only time they care about black on black crime is if a group of black people are protesting because a cop killed a black man. That is the only reason why they do it. They will give the white man a pass. What they're saying is, we want to hold black people responsible for killing black people, but we don't want to hold the white man responsible because you guys are killing yourselves, so we should be able to kill you too. Okay, well, white people, you guys are killing each other and inbreeding and killing other people too, so does that mean that we should get an open pass to go kill whatever white people we have? Because with that logic, that is what you're saying. If 84% of white people are killed by another white person, and then the rest of that percentage of crime is against other life forms, then really everyone should have an open season on white people based off that same logic. But people don't want to sit there. They really don't want to sit there and think about this logic. They want to pick up this. They want to pick up the stupidity of black on black crime and they want to run away with it and they want to share it. And black people need to stop doing that, because all you are doing when you sit there and run around talking about, oh, what about black on black crime? What you're doing is you're showing other people that you side with your oppressor, that you believe that the problem in the black community is black people, not white supremacy. Our entire country, okay, was built by a group of criminal rapists who literally did not obtain it without murder, without savagery, without rape, without torture, without some of the most inhumane demonic acts ever. And you will sit there and believe everything that the same group of people tell you. It blows my mind. Why are we trying to act like history does not matter? Even in court, if you prosecute somebody, you can bring up their prior bad acts because you want to establish a pattern of how that person actually is. So why is it that you guys don't seem to care about the hundreds of years of prior bad acts by one group of people that is sitting here mind screwing you over and over because you refuse to think for yourself? I'm not buying anything that they say, because my thing of it is that if I'm a killer, another serial killer has no reason to condemn me. That's just like Ted Bundy trying to condemn Jeffrey Dahmer. Both of you are the same. So how does one feel like they can sit there and condemn the other one? Really? Not one white person should open their mouth to tell black people about their crime when it's happening more frequently in the white community than it is in the black community. They push out this propaganda because they know you're not going to do the research. They know you don't know the difference from percentages versus raw number and data. They know you don't know anything about sample sizes and population groups. They know you don't know anything about replicating studies. They know you don't know anything about that. They know that you're not going to sit there and think for yourself because they programmed you not to. They programmed you to think exactly how they want you to think. That's why I'm saying going into 2016, it should be a goal of every black person to get their mindset back, because right now, white supremacy dominates your psychology. They tell you how to think. They tell you who to serve. They tell you what your spirituality is. They tell you what black people you should listen to. They tell you what black people people need to look like to be considered a black person. They run your whole brain. Right now, most of us don't have control over our thought process. Even when we think that we are being conscious, even when we think that we are being pro-black, what we're really doing is perpetuating white supremacy ideologies. Because at this point, everything that you learned needs to be sketchy, as far as I'm concerned. Everything that they tell me is shady, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not going to listen to the same group of people that lied to me for centuries. And stop thinking that someone is going to save you. No one is going to come save black people. So the fact that you guys would think that there's a savior that's going to come save us, it's not going to happen. If they wanted you out of oppression, they wouldn't have put you in oppression to begin with. And even if they did somehow accidentally put you in oppression, you wouldn't have been in it for centuries. It began in the 1800s. This is 2015, and you guys are still we are still expecting the same group of people that put us in bondage to begin with to take us out. That doesn't even make any sense. That's beyond illogical. So my thing is, stop falling for this okie doke. Do we have crime in our community? Yes, we do. Everyone has crime in the community. If you were sit there and prioritize it, and you really wanted to eliminate the most crime, if these cops really wanted to go police the areas that had the highest crime, they would go police the people that look just like them. So stop letting them think for you. Start exercising your brain to think for yourself so that you can stop falling for the okie doke. Now, that is my rant, and I will close out 2015 saying, start being black, be proud, embrace yourself, love yourself, stop co-signing white supremacy, because the only reason why white supremacy is still prevailing is because we are letting them. Someone can say whatever they want to me. They can tell me I'm a millionaire. They can tell me I'm a billionaire. I guarantee you, unless there's some numbers in my account to back that up, I'm not a millionaire. So in order for you to be inferior, you have to believe that you're inferior. Why do you think that they put so much time into brainwashing you to think that you're inferior? White supremacy cannot be without black inferiority. So stop internalizing the inferiority. Stop letting them give you smoke screens to tell you that you are the problem when they're the problem. Why do you think so many white people are getting outraged? Why do you think I get trolled all the time on these videos by the very same people that claim to hate me? Because if you really hated me, you would not be on a black vlogger's video. I can tell you that, because I don't troll any white people, because I don't really care what they're doing. I don't really care what they have to say on a video. What I do care about is this white system of white supremacy and oppression that keeps affecting myself as a black woman and my entire community. So that's why I'm doing this, and I don't care if they don't like it. I don't care if you can call me whatever names you want to call me. That is fine. Just like I said, you calling me a name isn't going to make me it unless I internalize it and believe it. And you can best believe I'm not internalizing anything that anyone sends to me or says to me or say they think of me unless I want to internalize it. So if you do not want to be inferior, don't be inferior. Take back your power, and that's all you have to do. Is take back your power. But you can't be powerful if you don't understand that you have power. You have to first believe that you have power, so then you can actually awaken that power inside yourself, and then you will be powerful. They know you're powerful. Trust and believe they do not think you're inferior, because again, if white people believing that black people is inferior and creating a system that lasted for centuries, hundreds of years, is the equivalent of me saying, I feel like a disabled person is inferior to me, so I need to go take out that disabled person. I need to go make sure I got to do everything to hold that disabled person back, because that disabled person who can't even walk, who's slobbering over themselves, who don't have no motor skills at all, who literally has an IQ of 5. That is the equivalent of me saying that that person is less than me, but I'm going to create a system that is designed to keep that person from getting ahead of me. That makes absolutely no sense. America is built on you being superior. to them, or at least them feeling like you have something about you that is a grave threat to them. Because you have to think, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of thinking, a lot was invested in getting you right to the point that you're at right now, to where you're so brainwashed, to where you feel so low about yourself and your community that you don't really care what happens. And that's how a lot of black people are. That's why they can go on there and say fuck black women. That's why they can go on there and say who cares, that dude shouldn't have been running from the cops. That's why they can justify it, because they don't even care about themselves. These are people who look in the mirror every day and they hate what they see because a white person has conditioned them to hate what they see. And it is impossible, again, for you to hate what you see in yourself and then go love a person that looks just like you. That's not going to happen. They know what they did. Now you need to know what they did so that you can empower yourself. So be safe. Have a happy new year. Don't get caught up in any drama. Like, comment, subscribe, and leave and share the video. Again, happy new year.